My parents sold their business and bought a brand new house. Not for me, but for my lazy, freeloading older brother, while I work 80-hour weeks just to survive. I'm 31M, and this mess started last spring. My parents had been running a small printing business for decades, and they finally sold it to take it easy. Or, at least that's what they told me. Within 2 weeks, they started going into overdrive, but not for me or my partner. No, it was for my older brother, Vincent, 35M. Vincent has always been obnoxious, manipulative, and completely blind to anyone else's struggles. He constantly belittles my parents online, posts passive-aggressive stories on Instagram, and has a reputation among family friends for mooching whenever possible. After selling the business, they bought a 2-story duplex in a nearby town, supposedly as an investment, but it was clearly meant for Vincent. They renovated it top to bottom in record time. I only found out when they casually mentioned he moved in last week. Meanwhile, I've been grinding away at my startup, averaging 60 to 80-hour weeks, barely scraping by, and living in a cramped apartment with my partner. Seeing them hand a brand new, fully furnished home to Vincent, who contributes nothing, felt like a gut punch. When I first confronted my mom about it over a family lunch, she smiled, poured me more tea, and said, "We treat you both the same. You just don't notice the effort we make for you." I laughed bitterly and said, "Notice? I work 70 hours a week while he lounges on Instagram, and you guys are remodeling his life. That's what you call equal." My dad mumbled something about family tradition and quickly changed the subject. Vincent, of course, leaned back in his chair and smirked. "Maybe if you hustled like me, you'd get something nice too." I almost threw the plate across the table. I yelled, "Hustled? You scroll through Snapchat all day while my parents do the heavy lifting for you. Hustled? Really?" Vincent shot back, "You sound bitter." Typical. My mom gasped and said, "Stop insulting your brother." I turned toward her and shouted, "Stop insulting me by pretending this is fair." My dad jumped in, raising his voice. "Enough. Don't start yelling." I screamed over him, "You've done nothing but enable him. Everything is about him," while I disappear in the background. I left the table, slammed the door, and spent the rest of the evening venting on Snapchat. I posted stories highlighting my recent project successes, with subtle digs at Vincent's freeloading life, and within minutes, he saw them, took screenshots, and posted a story calling me the drama king of the family. My parents, predictably, started blowing up my phone with texts and WhatsApp messages demanding that I reconsider my attitude and fix the family dynamic. I ignored them. The following week, my partner got pulled into the drama because my mom somehow thought they could reason with me through them. I was called selfish in several voice notes my partner forwarded to me, and I yelled back through our speakerphone, "Selfish? You hand everything to Vincent while mocking me behind my back. How about you look in the mirror?" The tension has been relentless. Vincent continues to post stories showing off his new home, his perfectly organized kitchen, the amazing terrace, the basement gym, all while tagging my parents and subtweeting about his hardworking sibling. My mom keeps sending me long Facebook messages, alternating between guilt-tripping and outright screaming at me for destroying family harmony. I respond publicly to some of their social media posts now, pointing out the contradictions and hypocrisy. It quickly escalates to full-on argument threads with comments flying from every side. The past 6 weeks have been non-stop chaos. Every interaction involves yelling, insults, and public online fights. I've called my mom out for gaslighting, told my dad he enabled a spoiled brat, and called Vincent out for being lazy, entitled, and manipulative. Every response from them triggers another round of shouting, either in person, over WhatsApp voice messages, or through Instagram stories and Facebook posts. I can barely keep up. My partner has threatened to block my parents entirely because of how toxic the communication has gotten, and I've had friends warning me that my social media is now a battleground. Vincent even started live streaming me, ranting once, and I yelled back live in the comments, calling him every name I could think of while he cackled. Even my grandma got involved recently, posting cryptic, borderline passive-aggressive Facebook updates about siblings drifting apart that are obviously aimed at me, and I told her directly in a private message to stop pretending she didn't see what's happening. I also got called overly dramatic multiple times, so I fired back with voice notes over WhatsApp calling my parents delusional enablers and Vincent a narcissistic parasite. Everything has spiraled into a mix of public social media insults, private voice note fights, and shouting matches that sometimes go on for hours. Text messages, Instagram stories, Facebook posts, and Snapchat streaks have all become weapons. My life for the past 2 months has basically been surviving a constant verbal war while trying to work and live my own life. At this point, the tension is unbearable, and I have zero contact in person with Vincent. My parents keep tagging me online and sending group messages, hoping to bait me into responding. I fire back with insults and screenshots, which triggers more posts and texts from them. The entire situation has escalated far beyond any normal family dispute, and I'm running out of ways to even defend myself without it turning into another screaming match. Update 1. My mom texted me early one morning, practically pleading me to come over for coffee. I wasn't expecting an ambush, but as soon as I stepped into their living room, I realized it was exactly that. Vincent was sprawled across the sofa, like he owned the place, earbuds in, scrolling through Instagram while my parents hovered nervously nearby. The moment I sat down, my mom immediately started in on me, gesturing at him and saying, "See, he's doing so well because he listens to us." I froze for a split second, trying to process it, and then it hit me. I couldn't hold back. I shouted, loud enough for the neighbors to hear through the thin walls. "Doing well? Doing well? You mean freeloading? You handed him a house while I'm scraping by trying to pay rent." Vincent smirked and muttered without looking up, "At least I'm living rent-free. Unlike some people." That was the spark that ignited the explosion. My mom screamed at me, "How dare you talk to your brother like that?" I spun toward her, voice cracking with rage. "How dare you let him walk all over you for decades and pretend it's okay? You ignore my work, my struggles, and then brag about coddling him." Before I could take a breath, my grandma, who usually stays in the background, intervened, saying in a shaky voice, "Calm down. We just want harmony." Before I tell you what happened in this story, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment and tell us what you think about the story and how you would react. I want to hear your thoughts. I almost laughed in disbelief and yelled, "Harmony? Harmony isn't bulldozing my life to coddle an entitled brat who posts TikToks of your hard work moving his stuff." Vincent suddenly stood up, pointing directly at me, and sneered, "Maybe if you weren't so lazy, you'd have a house too." I pointed right back at him, fury coursing through me. "Lazy? You're the laziest person in this entire family. You post videos on Instagram while my parents sweat over your belongings. You have no idea what hard work is." My mom started sobbing hysterically while my dad stepped in, voice booming, "Enough. Both of you stop this." I turned on him without hesitation, yelling, "No, you've let this happen for years. You've enabled him, celebrated him, ignored me, and now you tell me to stop yelling?" Vincent started laughing mockingly, then gestured toward my mom and dad, saying, "She's unhinged. Everyone, look at her, completely losing it." I lost it completely. I yelled at Vincent, my voice shaking but sharp, "Unhinged? You sit here playing victim while my parents build a mansion for you. Every insult you throw at me is a reflection of your own pathetic behavior." The yelling ricocheted across the room. My mom wailed. My dad shouted over her. Vincent mocked every word I said, and I responded in kind, calling him entitled, manipulative, and pathetic. I insulted my mom for gaslighting me, my dad for enabling a spoiled child, and Vincent for living off everyone else while pretending to be the golden child. At some point, my grandma tried to intervene again, sobbing, "Please, don't make this worse. We're family." I screamed back at her. "Family? Family isn't enabling parasites and punishing the one who actually works for a living." The chaos escalated further when my mom grabbed her phone mid-sob and started recording a voice memo, presumably to send to relatives, calling me disrespectful and impossible to reason with. I snatched my own phone out of my pocket and started recording over hers, narrating everything she was saying and calling her out for gaslighting. Vincent immediately tried to grab my phone, and I shouted at him, "Hands off. You don't even have the right to exist in this conversation without accountability." The fight devolved into rounds of shouting directly at each other, voice notes over WhatsApp flying, texts blasting back and forth with insults, and social media stories posted in real time to document the battle. Vincent posted a series of Instagram stories mocking me for yelling. My mom posted cryptic Facebook statuses blaming family tension, and I retaliated with Snapchat stories pointing out all their hypocrisy, including screenshots of their own voice memos. memos. Hours passed, and the tension didn't dissipate. It multiplied. My dad kept stepping in, shouting at everyone, while my mom alternated between crying and screaming. Vincent went from mocking to personally insulting me, calling me bitter, ungrateful, and dramatic. I fired back in real time, screaming, "Bitter? I've been sacrificed for your freeloading existence. Ungrateful? I've been screaming for fairness for years while you post TikToks of my parents' work." At one point, my grandma tried to reason again, crying, "You're ruining Christmas." I yelled, "No, you're ruining Christmas. You've been glorifying a parasite for years and punishing the one who works for a living." Eventually, I stormed out, slamming the door so hard the neighbors probably heard it. I blocked my parents on every messaging app for a week straight, but the chaos didn't stop. I posted on Snapchat venting my fury, which Vincent immediately screenshotted and posted on Instagram, captioned, "This is what drama looks like." I responded publicly on Instagram stories, calling out his freeloading life, the hypocrisy of my parents, and the constant gaslighting. The following days were worse. My friends were exhausted because every text I sent was a multi-paragraph rant about what happened. My parents sent repeated WhatsApp messages, tagging me in Facebook posts about Vincent's progress in his new home, trying to bait me into responding. Vincent commented on every post I made with derisive remarks, and I retaliated with insults, exposing his laziness and entitlement publicly. Every interaction escalated, and the tension became unbearable. Even my extended family started noticing. Cousins reached out to ask if everything was okay, but I couldn't even explain without it turning into another heated text chain. My partner had to step in multiple times, recording voice notes to defend me and shout at my parents when they tried to manipulate me through them. Update 2. My parents had somehow turned Vincent's Instagram into a public spectacle. Every day, he was posting stories showing off his perfect setup in the duplex, his newly organized closets, his state-of-the-art entertainment system, the kitchen my parents had remodeled, and tagging them in every story. Every post was a thinly veiled jab at me, insinuating that I was living a miserable, cramped life while he thrived. I couldn't take it quietly. I started posting back, not subtle this time, screenshots of his posts, side-by-side comparisons of my own professional achievements, and commentary exposing how much of his life was built on my parents' labor. Within hours, my stories were flooded with responses, mutual friends chiming in, family members taking sides, and Vincent adding sarcastic commentary in the captions. It was a social media war zone. Then came the in-person escalation. My mom texted me, begging me to come over for one last family meeting before the new year. I ignored her at first, but later that evening, out of curiosity and anger, I went. The moment I stepped into the living room, it was worse than Christmas. The air was thick with tension. Vincent had set up his laptop at the dining table, recording everything, apparently planning a highlight reel of me yelling for his followers. My parents hovered, tense and anxious, and my grandma sat silently, shaking her head. Mom started immediately, her voice trembling but sharp. "You need to see how happy your brother is. Look at him. He's organized, thriving, doing everything right." I didn't respond politely. I shouted back, "Thriving? You mean living like a parasite while the people around him do everything?" Vincent laughed, a low, mocking sound. "Parasite? Look at you, storming in here like a child. You're jealous because you didn't get a handout." I spun to him, screaming, "Jealous? I worked my ass off to survive. You post TikToks while my parents break their backs for you." The yelling escalated to a multi-person shouting match. My mom screamed at me for disrespecting Vincent. My dad yelled at both of us to calm down, and Vincent mocked every word I said. I responded in kind, calling him manipulative, entitled, lazy, and a disgrace to anyone who actually worked for a living. I even turned my anger on my parents, shouting that they had created this circus and enabling his every delusion. The fight spilled into social media mid-escalation. I live-streamed part of the argument from my phone, broadcasting my side of the conflict as my voice cracked with rage. Before I tell you what happened in this story, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment and tell us what you think about the story and how you would react. I want to hear your thoughts. Vincent commented in real time, calling me insane and the family embarrassment, which I shouted at directly through the camera, mocking his behavior and pointing out every lie and act of manipulation. My mom started crying, trying to drag me aside to speak privately, and I yelled, "No, you enabled him. You ignored me. You're just as responsible for this humiliation as he is." Dad, frustrated, tried to grab my phone to stop the live stream, which led to a physical tussle where I nearly fell over, screaming at him to let let go. Vincent posted a TikTok mid-fight, calling it the meltdown of the century, and my live stream viewers commented faster than I could read. I started reading them aloud, mocking Vincent and my parents for creating a reality where their adult child gets everything for free while another sibling is treated like a second-class citizen. Grandma, fed up, finally yelled at all of us to stop. I shouted back, "You're complicit too. You sit there, silently watching him be spoiled, while I get nothing." By the end of the night, the house was a war zone. Chairs knocked over, phones everywhere, voice notes and texts sent mid-fight from every direction. I finally left, slamming the door so hard it echoed down the street. Vincent immediately posted a story calling me violent and out of control, tagging all our family friends. I retaliated with a Snapchat story exposing his post, including screenshots of his freeloading behavior and the truth about the renovations, tagging him directly. The next morning, the chaos continued. My parents sent long WhatsApp messages, accusing me of destroying family unity, while Vincent posted more Instagram stories calling me dramatic and unstable. I responded publicly on Facebook, detailing his freeloading, entitlement, and hypocrisy. Mutual friends started commenting, picking sides, and the posts spiraled into hours of back-and-forth online shouting matches. After 2 weeks of non-stop social media warfare, live-streamed arguments, and voice notes flying, the tension reached its breaking point. I decided to confront the situation head-on. I recorded a video explaining exactly how my parents had prioritized Vincent over me for years, how they had coddled him, and how every insult he hurled at me was a reflection of their own enabling. I posted it publicly, tagging both Vincent and my parents. The reaction was immediate. Vincent went ballistic, live-streaming himself screaming at the camera, calling me delusional and a monster. My parents posted defensive statements on Facebook, attempting to guilt-trip me, but by then, most mutual friends had already read my post and were taking my side. The humiliation shifted. Instead of me being the angry sibling, Vincent became the public target of scrutiny. Friends, neighbors, and even extended family commented on his entitled behavior. By the end of that week, the social media battlefield had turned. My parents stopped messaging me as frequently, realizing the public attention was no longer in their favor. Vincent, humiliated online, deleted some posts and kept a low profile for a few days. I, still angry but victorious in some sense, blocked all tagging attempts, removed my live streams, and stepped back from the fight. But the memory of those weeks of yelling, fighting, and public humiliation stayed with everyone involved. In the aftermath, my parents' attempts to control the narrative fizzled. Vincent's social media persona suffered publicly, and I emerged as the sibling who refused to be walked over. The war had a chaotic, exhausting, and very public ending. No one got apologies. No one learned lessons, but I had reclaimed some power and, for the first time in years, refused to be silenced. The end. Your parents are blatant favoritist clowns who built a free palace for their 35-year-old leech son while telling you we treat you the same, with a straight face. Vincent is peak entitled parasite, smirking, subtweeting, flexing gifted renovations like he earned them. You had every right to be pissed, but you didn't just call bullshit. You turned the family into a live-streamed, multi-app screaming circus for months. Rage posts, voice note wars, snatching phones, yelling at grandma, public videos tagging everyone. You matched their toxicity with thermonuclear pettiness and made yourself look like the unhinged one on camera. Verdict: yes, everyone sucks here, but you aged the hardest in how you fought. Valid grievance: dogs hit execution. Should have gone no contact and let their favoritism rot quietly instead of giving them endless. Look how crazy he is content. Next time, state your piece once, block. Build your life, win silently. This war had no winners, just viral screenshots and therapy bills. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Got a story to share? Drop it in the comments and let us know which one was your favorite.